Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see who's going to join us. And I apologize, I am a couple of minutes behind. I lost track of time. All right, real quick, we're going to share with our friends over on Facebook. We want to make sure our groups all know we're here, provided we are really live. And there we are. We truly are. Okay. Uh-oh. Once again, Facebook has changed the looks of things, but I did find it. Okay, there's the share. Every so often they like to throw me a curveball, and I kind of don't know what I'm looking at, but there we go. I think we found it. We are good to get going. Hey, Sue. So glad you could make it. Hello, hello. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. That does help us get out there to more friends to know that we're live to come hang out with us. If you are here, please go ahead and say hello so I know who is coming to hang out with us this evening. Not even afternoon, it's evening. Cold, snowy, blustery evening. I am realizing winter has just begun, but I gotta tell you, I think I'm over it already. It has snowed every single day now for the last week. Yeah. Husband's already shoveling the roof for the first time, and it's only December. Hey, sis. Glad to see you are surviving this ridiculous winter. Like I said, I'm over it. I am really over it. It has been a nasty weekend, and they're calling for more tomorrow. So I'm not impressed. Anywho, real quick, we are now into the January subscription period for our paper pumpkin, and I don't have all the details for you because when I tried to go to the page to pull it up on Stampin' Up, it's telling me that it's a suspicious site and it won't let me go. So, anywho, I think we have somebody here that's misbehaving, and we're gonna put them in timeout. There we go. All right, we don't need misbehaviors here. Anywho, yeah, definitely misbehaving. Anyhow, oh dear, yeah, I'm glad you can't see it over on Facebook. He was on YouTube, so we just put him in timeout, so he has to not be, can't be here if he's not gonna behave. Hey, Kay, so glad to see you join. So, anyways, I couldn't get all the details for you for the January paper pumpkin. I will tell you it is non-holiday themed. It will be a spring theme, I believe. And that's really all I can tell you about it because, again, I can't get to the information. So I don't know if it's something on Stampin' Up's side or if it's something with my internet provider because it's Spectrum that's saying that it's a suspicious site. It's not a suspicious site. It's a normal site, but I don't know. Something may be happening. Anyhow, here we are. We are going to play with the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. I've been excited to pull this out. As you know, back in October, I did do the reveal. I opened all of the little 12 boxes, pulled out all of the goodies, and I have all of them here. So here is the stamp set. Here's the DSP that came in the box. Have not used yet the stencils that came in the box. We will probably continue with this the next time we're live. I will tell you, we will not be live next weekend. Just with all of the Christmas prep, I figured you're busy. I'm going to be busy. So we're going to take next weekend off and we will come back right after Christmas. It'll be the 28th, I believe. Yes, we'll be back on the 28th live. So next weekend, though, the weekend, I think it's the 21st, we will not be here live. Because again, just that last minute Christmas preparations taking place. I'll be on vacation that week. Again, last minute Christmas prep. So anyway, but when we come back on the 28th, I believe I'll be doing more with this product collection from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar, because there's so much and I only could do 3 cards, and so therefore I couldn't use everything. So I'd like to try introducing these stencils. I did not use the postage style dies yet. We did use these tonight, or going to use these tonight. I did use one of the circle gold foiled labels we're using tonight, but there's plenty more to choose from in there. There's these watercolor embossed pieces I want to use, but we didn't get to use those tonight. So again, lots and lots still to explore with this. We are using our glitter glue here. We'll be using that tonight. We have our little sequined glitter dots here. We're using those tonight. We have these little laser cut die cut pieces. And then we have more laser cut die cut pieces. We have puffy stickers. Haven't used those yet. And then we have shaker bits. So if we wanted to do a shaker card, we got some beautiful shaker bit pieces here. And I think that covers everything that came in the actual Advent calendar. So it's 12 different pieces. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, something. Oh, I know. These came in with these, and these came with these. So therefore, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Oh, and 12. So there's our 12 different items that came in our 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. Oh, you too, Miss K. Thank you. Okay. So let's see what we're making with our 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. I made 3 really pretty cards. So card number 1, we used our designer series paper. And I will tell you, I love using this paper because it's single-sided. I didn't have to struggle on which side to put up and what side to put down. So we have, I just did a piece here and a different piece here. This is like 3/4 of an inch. This was 3 inches, just to have a little bit of texture there. And then I cut out one of our arches. And then I took one of the laser cut dies, or laser cut die cut pieces, and added 2 here. And then I stamped our sentiment. And then, of course, a couple of those sweet little embellishments. Then I did this one here. Again, using some of that gorgeous designer series paper. I punched a circle, stamped our flowers. I have this little embossed piece here. And then using the glitter glue, I have embellished here. And I did use some of that twine to tie a bow. And then our final card, I used the pre-cut circle with the gold embossing here for our sentiment. And then I punched a vellum circle with our 2 3/8 punch. And then I used one of the pre-cut circles from the kit and layered that. I did 2 of these laser cut leaf patterns, and I actually colored those in with my blends, and I'll show you how I did that. And then I added a little butterfly and then more of the gold glittered dots. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this kit is really fun. There's lots and lots to do with it. Again, you get 2 things of stamps. You get your sentiments and you get your images. I have the ones we're actually using tonight mounted already on blocks. All right, so we're going to start with this card here. This is our birthday wishes. And we're going to pull this in. We have here all of our bits. We have a Misty Moonlight card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to get our bone folder here. And we're just going to burnish that out. Thank you, Kay. I'm glad you like them. All right. So our first piece of DSP is the floral pattern. And it's got Flirty Flamingo. It's got some Night of Navy and some Misty Moonlight in there. It's got a little bit of basic beige, some old olive, and crushed curry. So we have a lot of different colors in here that we're playing with. And I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive. And we want to make sure we have 3 equal borders. Let me put that down. All right. Then I have a second piece of that designer series paper that came from our kit. And this one, it's a basic beige with a little leaf pattern in white. So it's a very subtle texture there from our print. And we're going to go ahead and add, and this piece here is 3 inches by 3 inches by 5 1/4. This piece here is 3/4 of an inch wide by 5 1/4. And again, I'm just gonna center this. Right there in that space. Like so. All right. I did go ahead and die cut my arch. This is using the 3rd smallest. So if you count from the center out, this is the number 3 die. And that is going to layer right there. But first we're going to stamp our sentiment, birthday wishes. And we need our Misty Moonlight ink pad. So we're just going to get that inked up really well. And then this is going to stamp towards the bottom of our arch right here. So that says birthday wishes. Now, we need our dimensionals, if I can see what I had done with them. Those are minis. Found them. Okay. And that's going to go right about there. So that's our birthday wishes. And then I chose a die cut from this little pack here. Now, there was only one of these, so I can't find, and there isn't a second one. So we're just going to find something different, and there's plenty to choose from in here. So we're just going to pull these out and see what else may work. We got a banner piece here. We've got this pink flower that could work. We've got a cupcake. It's birthday wishes. That could potentially work. It's a little label. There's another label. We have these cherries. Those could actually work. This yellow flower could work. Don't like that. Strawberry could work. Ooh, we have a butterfly. This could work, or the little birdie could work. So we could do the butterfly. The yellow flower. Or the cupcake. So I'm going to let you guys tell me which one to do. The butterfly, the yellow flower, or the cupcake. Majority rules. I'm going to put the rest of these back. Sue likes the cupcake. Sherry likes the butterfly. All right. Cupcake. Butterfly. Anybody else got a idea, a thought, preference? I've got one butterfly, one cupcake. Sherry changes her mind to the cupcake. All right. I guess it's going to be a cupcake then, because I'm not getting any other. All right. Cupcake it is. And we need our adhesive. And that's going to go on like so. And then we're just going to bring in a little bit of glue. We need our take your pick. And where is, I guess that's over there. All right, we're just going to have to make it. We're going to do little drops of glue. And we need our little gold dots. We just need a few. And we're going to grab it's turned over. There we go. And we want to get a little glue. There we are. Oh, where's my glue? There it is. Oh my gosh, now my take your pick tool is hanging right on. Goodness. There we go. Okay. And there is our card. We're going to put our little gold right back in the pouch. And our first card is complete. Oh, except for I do have a 3 3/4 by 5 piece for our inside. I did forget to add that. Because we have a darker card base here, you do need a lighter inside for your inside message. So we're just going to place that in there like so. So now our card is actually complete. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our second card, which is this one here. This one we did more stamping with. So for this one, we need our kit here. So I have a cloud cover. Let's get everything out of the package here. Okay, so we're starting with our cloud cover card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Again, using that bone folder, we're going to press out that fold. Then I have here a Misty Moonlight panel. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I have a piece of that designer paper. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And that is going to layer like so. So we're going to go ahead and add our designer paper to our Misty Moonlight panel. I'm going to try that straight. Thanks, Kay. There we go. We're going to try to get this on there straight this time. This designer paper that's in the advent calendar, again, it is a single-sided paper, but it's also a little bit heavier. It's almost a little lighter than cardstock, but a little bit heavier than our standard designer paper. And the advent calendar is still available. It is on the last chance list. It's still listed at $99. But like I said before, even though it is $99, it's definitely worth it because of all of the product that you're getting in it. Okay, so there's our designer paper panel on our card stock, and now we're going to add our adhesive to the back of this, and we're going to add this to our card front. Put a little extra adhesive on this because, again, being that designer paper is a little bit heavier than our standard, I want to make sure everything adheres well. So there it goes down like so. And then I did take a piece of crushed curry and I ran it through my Big Boss using the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. So I did that ahead just to keep things rolling around for us pretty well. And this measures 2 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that runs the full length of our card. And this is going to go down with dimensionals. Once I figure out where I set the dimensionals, they're there. And before we put this actually down on our paper, we are going to wrap our twine. Around. So we need to get our twine, and I am using the white with Misty Moonlight. And you can't get this twine anywhere but in this kit. So we're just gonna find by okay. Now we're just gonna go ahead. Probably have way too much twine here, but the last one I cut a little bit short and it was a little bit harder to tie. So I guess we'll just go with the extra. Okay. We're going to go ahead and trim our tails. And now we can peel off our backings and adhere this to the front of our card. And again, this goes at the center and it runs from top to bottom right up through that center like so. Okay. Make sure that bow is off to the side. And then I have here some scrap basic white, and I have my 2 3/8 circle punch. And we're just gonna punch a circle. And then we need our stamp here that says love you. And we're going to get our Misty Moonlight ink pad again. We're going to ink up our love you. All right. Yeah. Actually, let's leave that. I'll set that over there. And I have another scrap here. And I have my flowers mounted. So I'm going to do my large flower in Misty Moonlight. So I want to make sure I get that inked up really well. And I apologize that this is moving the camera. So I'm going to make sure we get enough pressure on there to transfer all that ink to our paper. There's that. Clean this off. And then close that up. And we need the smaller flower. And for that, we're going to use our cloud cover. And this comes from the 5-pack of the mini ink pads in the main catalog. So I'm going to ink that up. Make sure we get enough ink on there. Okay. And may have to try that again. That's a little better. Okay. So now we need our dies. So let's see. Yeah, these are the ones. Let's get all this other stuff out of the way. We need this die and this die. These are the dies. There's a leaf. There's this little postage stamp type with the rainbow. There's this flower, that leaf, and the butterfly. And we will be using that butterfly tonight. So let me get these put back in their little package so we don't lose them, as I am famous for doing. I'll get that right in there. Okay. So we're going to start with this here. And we're going to get that all lined up. And I do have, of course, our Post-it tape. Okay. Set that aside there. And we need our baby boss. Plates. All right. There's our first flower. And then go ahead and put this back. Grab the second one. And okay. And now we have our second flower. Now we're just going to add our flower centers. And then we can continue. All right. So for flower centers, I have this one and this one. So the larger one, believe it or not, seems to fit best on this smaller flower. Like so. And then the smaller one fits in there. Okay. So we're going to bring back, and we need dimensionals. that's going to go right over the twine like so. And then I think the wind is picking up out there. Flower number 1. And then flower number 2. It's a dimensional. And just kind of sneaks under there. Then we bring in our glitter glue here. And just like our enamel effects, I have found that if you do a straight up and down, you're going to get a better rounded shape as opposed to if you go in from the side. Put another one right there. And then we'll just put one right there. And then we're just going to tap our card a little bit just to flatten them out a little bit because it does kind of leave a peak. And that kind of softens the peak. It's hard to tell in the camera, but it does. When you first put them in, they do have a little bit of a peak, but if you tap it down, it does soften that peak. So it's a little more rounded. So now you set this aside and let it dry, but otherwise this card is now complete. So we're going to let that sit and dry. And we are going to move into our final card already. So that one here, we're using a Flirty Flamingo card base. And again, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Going to use our bone folder just to smooth that out and make a nice crisp edge like so. We're going to get this out of the way because we are done with it. Well, thanks, sis. Okay. So next up, we have 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, both of which are cut down to 4 inches by 2 5/8. So if you put them together, you're going to have 4 by 5 1/4. So they're 4 inches by 2 5/8. We're going to go ahead and add our adhesive. And again, looking for 3 equal borders. Like so. I love these Flirty Flamingo flowers. I think they're so pretty. All right, and then we're going to take our old olive piece of designer paper here and add adhesive. And again, this is going to go in and it's going to butt up directly. Let's make sure that our leaves are going in the right direction. So that literally butts right up against that piece of paper. And now we have our piece there. I have also a 1/4 inch piece of cardstock that we're actually going to lie down on that little seam that we created, and we'll trim it down once we get it on there. But we need our liquid glue because this is so narrow. It's just easier to use our little piece like that. Tap that ink down. All right, now we are just going to go in and trim that like so. So that seals our seam. So now you'll never see how that happened. Went together. Next, I have a 2 3/8 circle that I did punch out of some vellum. And that's going to layer right over that seam there. Then, oh, I must have put it back in the basket. Hang on. Oh, we gotta find those die cut pieces. Oh. So then we want one of these die cut circles right here. Just layer over the top. And then we're going to have to dig through the areas because we do want some leaves. So we want this one. And we want, oh, that one there. Okay, so now we can put all these others back. Okay. So we are going to take our adhesive and we're just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of our vellum piece. And that is going to go right in the center, like so. This one here is going to get dimensionals. And it too will center right in the center of the vellum circle. Okay. Next, we're going to take our leaf pieces here and let's find a scrap here that we can use. We're just going to lay our leaves on top of the scrap. And I have here my dark Old Olive Stampin' Blend. And we're just going to add color to our leaf. And then the same thing on this one. Okay, and then just going to take a glue dot. Stick that in there like so. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. So there's our leaves. And then I have here a scrap piece of basic white. And I've got my Flirty Flamingo ink pad. And I've got my flower. I'm using the large one again. And then we're just going to stamp our flower. Then we have our crushed curry again. And our little center. And we need our die. Get our Post-it tape. And before we do that, let's go ahead and we're going to stamp our sentiment. And again, this is one of the die cut circles that has the gold foiling. And we need our stamp that says, for someone extra special. I have my old olive ink pad here. It's time for my old olive to get re-inked. Actually, I have a few ink pads that need to be re-inked. Okay. And then yes, it is pretty DSP. I 100% agree. There's our for someone extra special. And that'll go on there like so. And I have a little scrap of the crushed curry. And that is for our little butterfly. If I can get my hands on said little butterfly. There we go. There it is. Okay, so we're going to bring our baby boss back up. The flower, the little butterfly, and our top plate. All right. Put this back. We can get this. All righty. And now we need to get our butterfly. Okay. So now those dimensionals. And that's for someone's extra special. And then a couple more. And then our little butterfly gets a dimensional, or a glue dot. She's going to fly off right there. And then we have our liquid glue again. And we're going to put down a little dot there. And a little dot. Oop. Guess that's a big dot. Couldn't see it coming out. All right. Close that up. And just going to bring a few of these out. And we're going to get our little putty tool. I need to replace this, I think. This putty is getting pretty old. But we're going to put this one right there. Get it flipped to the right way. And And that, my friends, is our final card. And then we can put these back in their little container. Ah, that's a very good idea there, Miss Sue. Very good idea. All right. So there, we'll do a real quick recap while these are still drying. We'll try to keep everything. Our first card here with the die cut pieces. And then, of course, our second card, which this one is still drying. And this one's all dry with our glitter glue. So again, 3 really pretty cards, all using the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar supplies. Again, the Advent Calendar is still available. It is $99. It does come with the stamp set. And then all of the supplies that I did show you come in that calendar to create these beautiful projects. And like I said, I haven't used all of the product yet. And it is my goal to at least use everything in that kit. So when I come back on the 28th, I will be showing 3 more cards using product from this kit. It is, again, like I said, still available. So if it's something that interests you, now's the time to get it because it is on the last chance list. So once it's gone, it is gone. And that was the intent of this whole kit, was it was going to be a limited time. And once the supply was depleted, there was going to be no more. So anyway, it's a fun thing, especially if you had gotten it on the first, you could have done the full 12 days of Christmas kind of a thing. But we still have a few days left till Christmas. And if you wanted to get it, it'll probably come after Christmas, but you can still have fun with it. It doesn't have to be an Advent where you open only one. I had a hard time waiting to open up those little boxes. I wanted to open them all at once. All right, my friends, again, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I really appreciate you. I do want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, because it will be after Christmas when we come back together here for our live crafting. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to hang out with you and share my love of crafting and stamping specifically. So I do appreciate you for coming to hang out. Again, we will be back on the 28th. So taking next week off. So I do hope you all cherish your families and have a wonderful time together. And I'll see you then. Until then, have a wonderful week ahead and enjoy the holidays. Bye for now, friends.